Hello, welcome to Kit's Rock Review. We're still in the midst of Turn It On Again, our month-long tribute to the band Genesis, and today is day 22 of that tribute. And today we're not going to talk about one song, we're going to talk about a suite of songs, which have informally been called The Story of Albert. So this all comes from the album Duke, which is my favorite Genesis album. I like it. Still has that prog rock sense to it, but it's sort of a little more accessible to mainstream audience. Doesn't mean that's bad, just means more people would be listening to good old Duke here. So this was recorded after a few years of inactivity. The band after the And Then There Were Three tour took a break. Part of it was Phil Collins' first marriage was not doing too well, so his wife had moved to Vancouver, Canada, where she was from, and so he moved there to try to save his failing marriage. While that was going on, Tony Banks and Mike Rutherford recorded their first solo albums. Tony Banks recorded A Curious Feeling, and Mike Rutherford recorded Small Creeps Day. Interestingly, both those albums were recorded at a studio in Sweden, and both were based on novels. Tony Banks' A Curious Feeling was based on Flowers for Algernon, and Mike Rutherford's Small Creeps Day was based on a British novel called Small Creeps Day, where a factory worker is trying to find out exactly what his factory makes. Anyway, Phil Collins' first marriage did not succeed, and he eventually moved back to Surrey, England, to what he says was a very, very empty house, and he began recording some solo songs, which would eventually form the basis for his first album, Face Value. When Genesis got back together to start recording what would become Duke, they didn't have a lot of musical ideas because of all the solo activity that the three members had engaged in. So what they decided to do was that each member would contribute 2 songs, so that's a total of 6 solo songs to the Genesis record, and then they would jam and record the rest. That jam eventually became a suite of songs, the jam included, the songs that were developed in that jam were Behind the Lines, Duchess, Guide Vocal, Turn It On Again, Duke's Travel, and Duke's End. And they were originally going to record it as one long suite of songs, sort of like Supper's Ready. And the original plan was to have that suite on one side, and then their solo songs on the second side of the Duke record. They eventually changed that for a couple reasons. One, they didn't want to get compared to Supper's Ready, so by having another long track. And 2, they decided that they wanted to release Duchess and Turn It On Again as singles, and it would be easier to do if those songs were not part of a suite of songs. So the album begins, obviously, with Behind the Lines, Duchess, and Guide Vocal, all segueing into each other. Then there's a bunch of solo songs, and then Duke's Travel and Duke's End and the record. So that's the story of the Duke album. I'm of the opinion they should have kept the suite together. And actually they did in concert. They played the suite as one long segment in their concerts. And they even had Phil Collins tell the story of Albert before they played the songs. Although at the end of the story of Albert he said, but that has nothing to do with the album. But actually if you listen to it, it actually does. So in the comments, I'm going to put the story of Albert from the Live at Lyceum show. And by the way, if you have the 2007 remastered Duke, the Live at Lyceum is on the DVD that comes with the album. So you can actually see it there. But I'm going to put the Live at Lyceum version of the story of Albert in the comments. I want you to tell me, do you think the story of Albert should have been kept together as one long track on Duke? Or is it good the way it is, broken up? Let me know. And until next time, you all know what to do. Keep on rocking in the free world. I'll see you later.